Good morning. Let's see, Lauren. Let me get you up here. Maybe see if you can send me a request, Lauren. I don't know how to do this. Oh, here you go. I see it. Good morning, guys.
There we go.
Morning. I got my music working.
You did.
Good morning,
I'm so
guys.
I'm in the weirdest mood right now, so
Just bear with you. Oh no,
I'm just letting you know. I might be a little quirky, and I don't know right now. Wait, are you playing it?
Huh?
Oh, that was so weird. The music went out. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, well, I turned it down so that I could hear you. Well, you look good. You don't look like you're in a quirky mood. You look fabulous.
I had a fun morning. So do you. How was your weekend?
It was cool. It was interesting. I was like so kind of drained this weekend, and I felt like I needed to like really just take a moment to just like chill out, you know?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. How was your weekend? Good morning, guys. As you're joining, drop your name, where you're tuning in from, and yeah, let's get it going. Welcome to Wake Up and Show Up.
Oh wow, we got a lot of people. I'm like looking. Yeah, but it's same here. Just like, what did I do this weekend? I went full, the KonMari method?
No, what is that?
Okay, so it's the life-changing art of tidying up. And it's like the best thing ever. It can either go wonderfully or completely awry, because basically the idea is that you get rid of anything that doesn't like spark joy in your apartment. Like it's like a cleaning out method. And so when I did it a couple of years ago, I got rid of like everything, and I was like, I have no clothes. Like I don't like any of my clothes, and I have no clothes. So I'm being a little more responsible about it now. But all weekend I was just aggressively like pulling stuff and
kind of like get rid of to make new space. It's to make new space for new things, right?
Exactly.
Good morning, guys. What's
Hi,
up?
everyone.
As you
Happy
join,
Monday.
happy Monday. Let us know your name, where you're tuning in from. If you got a little morning drink in hand, I got some coffee. Lauren, what you drinking? Anything?
Oh, I need to handle that.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna walk. We're gonna go on a walk.
Well, as you do it, we gonna, I'm like all about the music here. Whoa, as she's getting her coffee. What's up, guys? Drop your name, where you're tuning in from, if you got something in your glass. As we get settled in this Monday morning, we are going to just chat, and we're excited to be on with you guys. So what are you gonna get, Lauren? Are you getting coffee?
I just got water, so I already had my coffee, and it takes a tremendous amount of self-discipline, but I can only have one, because if I have more, I will not be able to string a sentence together because I'll be so hungry. So I'm switching to water. What are you drinking?
I have coffee. In this little mug here. I was like I said, this weekend, I don't know what it was, but I felt like I needed like a reset. And so last night I was sitting outside and in my backyard, and I had like a glass of wine, and I was like just vibing out. I had some good music going, and I haven't been drinking. Like I don't really drink that much as it is, and lately the past couple of months I haven't drank like at all. And so I had like one glass, and I was like feeling it. And so I was like, okay, I guess it's time for me to go to bed. I kind of was like, all right, pump the brakes, because I wanted to just mellow out, but I didn't want to wake up with a hangover and feel all crazy. So I after one glass, I kind of just chilled, and then I went to bed at like 9:30.
We were on the exact same wavelength. So I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I also, for the most part, cut alcohol. And then I was just, this last week, I was like, girl needs a glass of wine. Like, I just need a glass of wine. I would enjoy it right now. So I bought a couple bottles and like had cracked one of them open the last couple nights. And it was the same thing where I was like one glass in and I was like, woo! Okay.
Nice. And then you were like, okay, so this is what that feels like.
I was like, whoa, right. Okay, this is why this could be habit forming. All right.
No, that's how it was last night. Good morning, guys.
Hi, everyone. Morning.
Let us know your name, where you're tuning in from as we get settled. I guess
Mom.
Is that your mom?
Hi, Mom. Just joined. Hey, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Cat squished over.
I love it. Oh my God. Well, just to do a quick intro, just for some of those people, because I know you have people joining from your end, Lauren. I have people joining from my end. So just to do a super quick intro, like what this is all about, why we're here, who we are, and then we'll just jump on into it. We don't have like a complete run of show, guys. So we're just kind of flowing with you guys. And so my name is Cara Sharice. I'm the founder and creator of Pretty Passionate, which is a personal development, lifestyle, and media brand. And I am also kind of, I call myself like an elevation strategist or coach, if you will, really helping women get in the weeds and push through a lot of those things that keep them stuck from taking action, right? So things like fear, limiting beliefs, doubt, lack of confidence, and so forth, and really helping them get in the weeds so that they can harness their passion and either turn it into a profitable business or just bring more fulfilling experiences in life evolution into their life. So that is me, and I'm joined by Lauren.
So my name is Dr. Lauren Borden. Cara and I joke that we're each other's, hey Neo, we're each other's doppelgangers. So we really, honestly, our life's purposes feel insanely aligned. I do a lot of the same stuff. I'm a coach. I'm a meditation instructor. I'm an executive coach. I basically work primarily with women, but also with men, because this is not gender specific, but primarily with women on helping them identify the things that really, really light them up in the world and really get in touch with themselves so they can identify what they want their impact to be, and then actually having the courage to step into that impact. So I work with a lot of people, work with a lot of creatives. I work with a lot of people who are deeply sensitive, and really taking the things that matter to them and turning them into their fuel and into their fire in a really intentional way so they can go out in the world and basically have the impact that they're looking to have. So
yes,
that's me.
Okay. And so we're here this morning with our wake up and show up weekly Monday kind of meetings that we set up. And basically it's just a moment as we head into a new week. It's so important, as I'm sure a lot of you know, to set your intentions at the beginning of the week, you know, and to really go into the week feeling good. And it can be hard, especially during this time of the pandemic, to like pull ourselves up out of the bed, right? Especially if you're working from home, or, you know, there's a lot of emotions going on, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear, and even pain, and just confusion and all of those things. And so it can be hard sometimes to pull ourselves up out the bed, to get dressed, to shower even, and, you know, and really like continue on with life and keep our vibrations high, because that is what's going to get us through this pandemic and out of it. And so Lauren and I was like, it'd be great if we hopped on every morning, because we have a touch base every week on Monday, and it's literally a moment for us to unpack. And so a lot of times you're like, what did you do this weekend, girl? What do we got planned this week? And just talk about, girl, this weekend I wasn't feeling it, or I'm not feeling it today. And just a moment for each of us to pour into one another, no matter what's going on. And so we was like, and it really charges us up for the day and kind of helps to shape our perspective for the week. And so we were like, how about we just go on Instagram Live and do it collectively? Like, let's get a pool of people together to continue to, you know, put these good vibes out into the world.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So exactly. Like we basically, so we've been probably doing these weekly touch bases for a few months now, like at least since June-ish, maybe. And wait, no, not June. Sorry. Wow, that's like way off. At least since
maybe since like
October.
October, yeah. I was gonna say October.
We met in October. Yeah. We met in October. So we've been having these weekly meetings, like weekly conversations, and it feels a little like we're on a talk show sometimes. I'm like, if we were in the 90s, I'd be like, we need to seriously figure out a way to get us on a talk show, because the conversations that we have are so fun, but they're actually like, I don't know. We actually really go deep on some stuff and really unpack things in a really particular way that had us thinking about podcasts and recordings and all these things. And we were like, we need to get these ideas like out into the world. So we're starting with Instagram Live. It might evolve, but this is where we're starting. So
this is where we're starting, and we wanted to bring you guys into our Monday meeting. So what's up? So, talk to us. Let us know what is going on, what you're getting into this morning. Lauren and I, we're just gonna flow. Like, this is like our time to just unpack, right? And so we're gonna just flow. If you guys have questions, like, let us know, how was your weekend? Like, let's start there. Let us know how your weekend was. Lauren and I was just saying how we both kind of felt a little like we needed a moment to rest. And me personally, I have been working like a crazy person over the course of this pandemic. And for those of you who don't know, like, my story, I just recently, actually Lauren and I both, we always talk about, us being literally like twins, and our lives are so parallel.
So weird.
It's crazy. And so we both recently took, a huge shift last year, and leaving our like 9 to 5, so to speak, and really diving into our purpose, our passion, our heart's work, and things that we've been working on for a few years. And so we both took that kind of leap into the unknown to just go at it full throttle last year. And so, we don't have the luxury of being like, okay, let me sit back during this pandemic, because obviously how we will eat and thrive and live depends on us.
Yeah. Cara, I don't know if I've said this to you, but I had this moment when after the pandemic, because it's a little funny, right? Because I work with people on living life outside of circumstances and outside of fear, and I'm like, this is strangely applicable right now at this point in my life. But I had this moment where I looked back on things, and I used to work in healthcare. So I was like, I left what was arguably the most secure job I could have possibly had. And I know what I have to tell you. I'm like, I don't regret it for a moment. Like, not a moment. The gifts that it's given me in my life have just been so outrageously, I'm so grateful for them. You're one of them, by the way.
You're one of them. And let me tell you, like, this is actually the perfect segue, because I know we recently was talking a lot about Glennon Doyle's Untamed. And so let's get into it. And so, go ahead. I know there's a lot waiting to burst up out of you about this book.
There's like, I could just carry on, keep going.
Look, I'm going to say this piece, and I'm just going to let you let it all out. This is why we're here. Just let it hang out on the table. So, to Lauren's point about her having a job that was so secure that, she felt good about, she knew it was going to be a check on the table, and she knew it. She probably at that point can do it with her eyes closed. And then the same for me. I had what most would say, or what was and still is, my dream job. I was an associate director of integrated marketing at Essence Magazine, and in my history, I had 10 years of experience in media and entertainment, in marketing, where I could be creative, where I could make an impact. And literally from being a child, that was my dream. That was the ultimate dream. Black Girl Magic headquarters, let's get it, in New York City. You know what I'm saying? I was going to be walking down Fifth Ave with my high heels, looking like a boss, right? And anybody who lives in New York know you ain't walking up and down the hill with your heels on. You got your sneakers on your feet and your heels in your bag. But it was perfect. I was making 6 figures. I was good. And a lot of times we think, we see people who take leaps of faith, or who step out on their own, or who go into entrepreneurship because they've almost been forced into that space, right? Either they've been laid off, or their experience at their job is so gut-wrenching horrible, or they hate, or they hate their situation that their back is almost against the wall. And so, like Lauren, I just felt a call to do more. And so that's the perfect segue into Untamed, because I know Glennon Doyle talks about and Lauren, you can probably explain this better than me, and I might hagger it, but she talks about this cheetah who was tamed. She went to this cheetah park with her daughter. Yeah. She went to this cheetah park with her daughter, and while at this cheetah park, they had the trainer up on stage, and she was like, oh, we're gonna bring out this cheetah named Tabitha. She's gonna do tricks or whatever the case is. And so this dog actually comes out. Long story short, the dog comes out. She throws like this dirty bunny or whatever. The dog goes and runs after this bunny and retrieves the bunny and brings it back. Okay, like dogs do. They fetch, they go get things, and they bring it back because that's what they've been trained to do. She talks about now she brings Tabitha out, the cheetah. And so Tabitha's, just beautiful, prancing around. And again, she throws this bunny. So they get to the point in the show where she throws this bunny, and Tabitha's running after this bunny to retrieve this dirty, stuffed bunny and bring it back, just like the dog, right? And so the author of this book talks about how she's sitting here and she's like, Tabitha, like, don't you know you are a cheetah? Like, you could rip this woman, this trainer, to shreds. You could rip everyone in this audience to shreds, but we're not going to go to the violence. But she's like, don't you know you are a cheetah? But they've trained you to run after this dirty pink bunny that they say is the prize, and to bring it back because that's what you've been trained to do, just like this dog. And so they go through the show, and then they put Tabitha back in her cage, and she's kind of like in this open field while they carry on with the show. And Glennon Doyle talks about her daughter. Oh, I missed the part. Before they put her back, I think someone in the audience asked the trainer, was like, well, doesn't Tabitha miss the wild? Because they were saying, like, how do you work with Tabitha and you're not afraid? She's a cheetah, da-da-da-da. And they're like, doesn't she miss the wild? And the trainer on the stage says, well, no. Tabitha loves it here. She's never lived in the wild. She doesn't even know that the wild exists. So she doesn't miss it. You know what I'm saying? This is her home. She's comfortable. She's comfortable here, right? She's in a cage. She's getting fed every day. She's comfortable here. Don't worry. She doesn't miss it. She's never been there. So then they let Tabitha go back into this open area. And Tabitha is the cheetah. For those who just joined, they let Tabitha go back into this open area. And the author, Glennon, says her daughter was like, Mommy. Because they looked, right? They looked over and they saw Tabitha kind of, her shoulders kind of got upright, and she started to, stand in her power out in this open field. Yeah, and like just be very regal out in this open field. And they could see her like looking off into the distance. And the author, she said her daughter was like, Mommy, Tabitha's went back wild. She's wild again. I think like she remembered. And so long story short, the author talks about how although Tabitha doesn't know that she is a cheetah, which she is, she's been trained to act like this dog. Although she doesn't necessarily know she's a cheetah, she doesn't know about the savannah and African and open freedom and life and all of this stuff. Something in her is saying there's more. Something in her, the wild in her, the beast, the beautiful beast that she was born to be, is still in her. Although she's been trained, although she's been kept in captivity in this cage and trained to do all these things. And so I say, that's kind of like, I feel like how you and I was, Lauren. It was like we had these great jobs. I had my dream job, all the glitz and glam, and I loved it. And these things are very important pieces of our story, but it was something in us that was like, there's more. Like, I am not supposed to be this cage person that society says I should be. I'm supposed to be this regal, wild beast living in freedom. So yeah.
You're a cheetah.
I'm a cheetah. And y'all, we all are cheetahs, right? So,
oh my gosh, the cheetah story. Oh, I keep referencing it too. I'll be talking to one of my girlfriends. I'm like, that's because you're a cheetah. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, read the book.
And for those of you guys who just joined, good morning.
Hi,
Lauren and I, before Lauren continues to unpack, we're talking about Glennon Doyle's book Untamed, and how it's just like,
just
it's
read.
gold.
Oh, it's like, just read it. I literally, as I was reading it, I was like, there's someone else who feels like this. Like, someone else know, like, she so eloquently put words to this thing. And I work with so many women who have this experience. I think she called it, was it the rumbling? I don't remember what she called it. It was something like the like stalking of the periphery, like Tabitha the cheetah she's in this zoo, and she's like, I had to slow down to take. I know, I've read it, Joanna. I think I've read it twice now. I'm on my third round because I'm like, there's so much in there that I need to process.
I feel like it should be required reading for every woman. So if you're on this live, watching it live or watching the replay, Glennon Doyle, Untamed, thank us later.
Yeah, y'all, for the next 2 years, you're going to hear me referencing this book because the amount of stuff it had me unpack in my own life and actually look at. And it started with, I think I was, on some level, I'm so fortunate and so grateful because I actually really had the privilege in my life of being able to look at all my dirty pink bunnies, all of the boxes that I felt like, oh, I need to check these. I got the PhD. I got I graduated from a great college. I got this amazing job. I moved to the city of my dreams. I ended up in the relationship of my dreams that I thought was completely perfect on paper. Like, literally, I was like, I couldn't have designed a better man for myself. And by the way, who I still adore, like, love so much. This is not knocking him at all. And realizing, having this thing inside of yourself go, there's something else, like, that I want. And I think we're so taught to hear that voice and we're taught to invalidate it. We're taught to say that thing you want isn't possible. No one else is doing it. Like, are you crazy? Just be happy. Be happy where you are. Just learn to be happy where you are. And look, I think there's something to that. I'm not knocking that, but just learn to be happy where you are. Nothing's perfect. And yes, that is a skill that is important, but never at the expense of your internal voice.
Yeah. Ever. And I think, to your point, I think we've been so trained to be like, you're doing good. Stick with good. This is good enough. And it's like, but I want to be great. And to Lauren's point, not that you got to be like, you can't be appreciative of what you have and where you are, because those things are important. I would never knock anything, anyone, or any experience in my life ever. And I would never change it because they all mean something to me. And I never moved on from a place of malice or from a place of hate. I hold all those experiences and people in my life to my core. I think what's super important, though, is that we begin to ask ourselves the questions on, is this what I truly want? Yeah. Or is this what society, maybe my mom, maybe my parents, maybe my friends, social media, is this what these things are training me to think I want? You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's worth asking ourselves those questions. And even myself, I'm guilty of it. I mean, I've been doing the personal development work, although I have 10 years experience in entertainment and marketing. I've also, behind the scenes, this, like, Pretty Passionate didn't just begin, this year or 3 years ago when I founded the business. It didn't just begin. I've literally been doing this for, I don't want to say my age here, but but I'm still cute. I'm a cute tenderoni. For literally 10 years as well. From the moment I came out of college, I had been doing this personal development work. So it didn't just begin here. And asking myself those questions. And I think a lot of people don't ask themselves those questions. And a lot of times because it's fearful. Because if you ask yourself the question, okay, let me tell you guys this, and just warn all you guys. You begin to ask yourself the questions. You may find some things and you may be like, holy crap, this doesn't align. What I'm seeing in my physical world doesn't align with what is in my heart. And then it's your responsibility to either change it or, like, you can never be the same after that. Like, once I really uncovered, like, holy crap, like, this is what I'm here to do. No matter dream job, how much money I was making, the connections I had, the travel I was doing, I could never go back to being in the state of the unknown. Once it was revealed to me who I am and what I should be doing, I could never go back. And so a lot of people are afraid of that pressure. And so, but it's a beautiful place to be in, though.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh, there's like so much. I just had so many thoughts after what you just said. I feel like I could just literally have like a 7-hour live, like just about an Untamed, because there's so much there. But like I think also if there was something I could give you, because it's like, I think we all have those things that like gnawing feeling, is this the person for me? Is there something else outside of this? Like what, is there like the things that we're actually passionate about and light us up that we talk ourselves out of all the time? And it would have been so easy, like for either of us, in these like wonderful jobs that we had that were so, like, I'm still so grateful for. And I think for me also, I spent so long trying to not know what I knew. Like trying to, like, in various capacities in my career, in my love life, all of these things, trying to not know that something wasn't quite right, and making myself wrong for having that feeling, like making myself wrong for wanting something more. I should want the job that I know for like beyond a shadow of a doubt is going to have me be able to completely support my family without having to think twice. I should want that, because we're all taught to chase these dirty pink bunnies. Like, it's not like we're learning these things because our parents were malicious, or because the society's malicious. I mean, you could maybe argue that there's some maybe gender stuff involved, or, kind of like the patriarchy and all of that, all of those dynamics, which are perhaps another phone call. But like, it's because everyone's chasing dirty pink bunnies. All of us. And like, in the moment you realize that it's a dirty pink bunny and it's not yours, it's like, I feel like the amount of stress, migraines, physical problems, like the things that for me started popping up where I was like, what is this? And I thought it was random, and it wasn't random. It was just me. I needed to get back in alignment. And as soon as I did that, everything changed. So
and and life begins to open up for you in a new way too, right? I feel like they always say, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this quote, and it's like, just get started, right? So you may not have all the answers. You may just inside know that there's more. You're like, there's more, but what's more? So you begin to look, you begin to research, you begin to connect with like-minded people, be around certain conversations, and life begins to open up for you and reveal things for you as you go along. And so, that quote or that saying, it's like, it's almost like you're driving a car and there's the headlights, and you're in the dark, but you can only see a few feet in front of you. If you're driving down a winding road with no streetlights, you can only see a few feet in front of you. But just keep trusting that the road keeps going. And as you keep going, more and more light and more things will be revealed to you. And I think the whole kind of beautiful thing about Untamed, and then our experience, is that I'm sure we all have that thing that there's like, but there's more. No matter how good it is, there's more. And more may not be entrepreneurship, more not be starting a business, but more may be just giving myself more, tapping into my gifts, tapping into my creativity, right? Like going to work, coming home, feeding the kids, going to sleep, and doing it all over again is not living, right? So like, what is your creative expression? What are some of the things that you could be saying? What are the conversations that you can be having? That could be your more, because there's more to us. We are multi-leveled or multi-dimensional beings. And when I like took my leap of faith and I left my career or my 10-year career, it's still in me. And how I operate in my business now is literally how I operate in marketing, but I found out so many things about me, like, and new creativity and new things that I enjoy. And so I think it's something to be said about being able to evolve and unfold in life.
100%. And I think that's one of the things I tell people too who I work with. I'm like, look, this doesn't mean like I'm someone, it's been reflected to me. Someone told me this weekend, that when I decide something, I go from 0 to 1,000 in like 2 seconds. I'm like, I make a decision and I'm just like, oh, okay, that's like the thing to do. Like, okay, it's, so Cara, like, I just went through a breakup like 3 days ago. And as soon as it became clear, I was like, nope, okay, this is the thing that needs to happen. Or like my job, I just like kind of woke up one morning and I was like, oh, it's totally now. It has to happen now.
Yeah.
And not everyone is like that. That's okay. And so, and Cara is also very similar to me. Like, I think you did a lot of building to the leap that you made, and there was a lot of planning and plotting and thought. And there was for me too. It's just that when the opening came for me, I jumped very, very readily.
Yeah.
And so that's not what it is for everyone. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean lighting your life on fire always. Sometimes it does, but not all the time. And I think actually sometimes it literally might be how you operate inside of your current life, or inside of your current job, or inside of your current relationship. This isn't about, blowing your commitments up necessarily, but it's about getting back in integrity with yourself. In a really, really intentional way, so that even if like, and for me, that did involve being like, this is not the job. This is, as much as like, I adore this person and everything looks great on paper, this is not the person. And I know it in my soul. And actually honoring that and trusting that, rather than doing this thing that we do where we go, I'm crazy. There's no such thing as the savannah. I'm in a zoo, and this is just my reality, and I need to be as happy as the Labrador Retriever. Like,
yeah. And then
that's
and then to Tabitha being in the zoo, it's like, but I get breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. I'm safe. There's no threat. No one's gonna, like, a big old lion isn't gonna come and chew me up. I don't have to hunt for my food. I got water. I have friends. I have a job, right? I go out every morning and I chase these pink bunnies in front of this crowd of people who are clapping me on and saying good job.
So many claps.
i.e. family, friends, whatever, employees, they're clapping me on.
That is seductive.
Ooh. But
that is, yeah.
I am a cheetah. I am a cheetah. Let me be out in my natural habitat. And I think it's something to be said for us, especially now with this pandemic. It has given us an awesome opportunity to do a lot of that inner work and uncover. Some people may uncover that they are the Labrador. And they're, but maybe you're a Labrador who is like, I'm tired of chasing cheetahs, and I want to now go and live in a home with a loving family and just run after what I want to run after. You know what I'm saying? But most of us will uncover that we are cheetahs. We have such fire to offer the world. And when I'm telling you, when you step into that space, and I think, Lauren, the reason that, like, you're able to be like, and I think, this is how I operate. The reason that you're able to be like, able to be like, this is the right decision. Like, once you figure out, like, okay.
Right, once I know, yeah.
Yeah, once you know, but it's because you're in touch with who you are to your core, and what your vision is for your life. Now, granted, a vision doesn't mean you have to be rigid and stay in that. You have to be flexible with the ebb and flow of life. But you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I know that I want to be this amazing, like, the next Oprah, right? If I know I want to be Oprah, and I'm in a relationship with a man who is sitting on the couch eating chips every day, he's gaining weight, right? And I'm in this relationship with him, but I love him, right? So two things are gonna happen, right? This man is eating chips. When y'all met, y'all may have been eating chips together, okay? But you started to wake up, and you started to be like, I want more. And you started to be like, but I want to speak. I want to be Oprah, let's say, if that's your goal. Then you start to elevate. And he's still eating chips. So what's going to happen is either you're going to outgrow him.
By the way.
There's nothing wrong with chips. There's nothing wrong with chips. Then what's going to happen is you're going to continue to evolve. He's going to stay. Then you guys are going to start arguing. You're going to be like, what the hell is happening? Right? Or he's going to stifle your growth, and you're going to stay right here. And so, right?
Or you're subconsciously going to make yourself smaller and resist the urge to elevate and expand because you're afraid that if you do, you're going to lose the relationship.
Yeah. And so I think, back to your point about when you know, I think knowing that I want to be Oprah, if that's your dream or whatever, knowing that I want to do that. And in order to do that, I got to get up and I got to work out because I got to be ready for the cameras. You know what I'm saying? I got to get up and I got to practice my speeches. I got to get up and maybe I got to take a speech class. I got to get up and study. I got to do this. Then you immediately know this ain't it. Immediately.
Yeah.
And so I think it's knowing yourself, knowing what you want, and you could immediately know whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job opportunity, whether it's any other opportunity, when it's not for you. And I've been at, you know, we've all been at the place where we're like, I don't know, but I love him, or I don't know, I really want this job. I can make most of my decisions, I can make like that right now, because I'm like, okay, this is an alignment, this isn't. So
It's, you just friggin' know. Well, and I want to put two things in, because first off, so I work with a lot of people on this, and the natural question is like, how the hell do you know? Like, what? Because so many of us that we can't actually tell the difference between our internal voice and that learned, and the dirty pink bunnies, or the things that the conditioning that has us chasing the dirty pink bunnies. So there are two things that I would put in, and one is the reason that if you had asked me 3-4 years ago, what do you want? I wouldn't have known how to answer the question.
mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't have known how to answer the question. It would have given me so much anxiety to even think about it. I probably would have collapsed in on myself. And the thing that had me, here's what's so, look, COVID sucks. The quarantine sucks. This is a hot dumpster fire. So, you know, I want to preface what I'm about to say with that. But the thing that's so great about it, and the thing that actually makes it a tremendous opportunity, is that it is so hard to hear your inner voice when you're so busy being in action and chasing dirty pink bunnies and doing all of these different things that we're taught to do so automatically. Like, you have to stop and disengage and get connected with yourself on a small scale first. And the only way you do that is by slowing down. Like, you're not, when you're writing that whatever legal brief or whatever the heck it is that you've got going on, and you're going 1,000,000 miles a minute and you've had 10 cups of coffee, that's probably not the moment where you're going to hear that inner knowing go like, hey, I don't think this is it. Like, that's not the moment that it speaks up. It speaks up when you slow down. It speaks up when you're like, when you cut some time out to start writing, or start meditating, or do a creative practice, or when you kind of go on a retreat or kind of cut off from the world. So that's number one, is like actually disengaging and creating time and space for yourself to ask yourself some of those bigger questions, which is perfect, because that's what we're all being forced to do right now. It's just that 99% of us are fighting it. We're like, we want to keep going, doing the automatics, because we've been trained to feel like shit if we don't.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, no, I don't want this. And it's like, just be where you are and actually get connected with yourself. That's number one. Number two, the thing that you know might not be, I want to be Oprah. Cara and I are kind of weird. Like we're a little bit unusual in the sense that we're like, I know what the dream is, and that's just what it is. Like, and I knew I wanted to be a coach, and it's evolving a little, like what it's going to look like, but like ultimately, but we have these really big, very clear dreams. Not everybody has that, and that's okay. But that developing that inner knowing, you're going to know what the next step is. Like, you're going to know, okay, this isn't the relationship, or this isn't the job.
Uh-oh.
That was my social media timer telling me that I've been on social media for too long today.
I was like,
uh-oh. But you're going to know what the next thing is. It's like, and it might not make sense. It might not make sense. In fact, everyone in your life will probably try to talk you out of it, because that would be scary for them. And so your job is to get so rock solid in your relationship with yourself that when you hear that knowing, when you hear that pull, you honor it and listen to it, and stop gaslighting yourself out of it.
I love it. Yeah. No, I love it. You know, just recently, I was doing some work just recently, and although I knew this, it was broken down to me in a very fascinating way. So I'm gonna break it down. So in life, right, we have four different things. We have capabilities per each person. We have our capabilities, we have our skills, we have our talents, and we have our gifts, right? Four things. Now, your talent is something that comes naturally to you, right? So it's something that you don't necessarily need to practice. You know, you can practice to be better, but you don't necessarily need to practice. You don't necessarily need to do research. It just comes naturally. So maybe you naturally know how to dance. You naturally know how to sing. You naturally know how to paint. Now, again, we practice to make it better, but these are talents that we naturally had. That's a talent. Then your skills are things that you've acquired, you know, over time, things that you've learned, right? We go to school, we study how to type, you know, or, you know, maybe how to do a marketing deck. Those are your skills, right? Then the third one is your gift. Now, your gift is what you have, and when you're doing it, when you're in your gift, you're in your moment, people can, I'm very spiritual, people can see and feel God, right? That is your gift. When you're in your moment and you're in it, you know, so a skill may be I can speak. That may be my skill. But when I'm on stage and I'm in my moment, that's my anointing. I'm in that moment. That is my gift. You can feel it. Now, you know, sometimes we look at Beyonce, right? And she dances on stage and it's like, whoa, like something happens. You know, it's like a transformation, or it's a feeling that right? It's a feeling that wells up in you, and because that's her gift. But someone else can dance and do a performance. You don't necessarily feel a movement, you know, because that, you know, that may be their gift, but it's coming in a different way. So most of the time your gift is what, when you're in it, it's that anointing, you can feel God. And then the last one is your capabilities. So capabilities is what anybody can do, right? So picking up this mug, I am capable of picking up a mug, right? I am capable of doing doing makeup is a skill, but I am capable of taking out the trash. You know, I am capable of taking these stacks of papers and making copies on the copy machine. That is my capabilities. And so it was brought to my attention the other day in this way. Most of the world, most people are operating in their capabilities, right? They are making a living in their capabilities. However, they haven't tapped into their talents. They haven't tapped into their gift. And most of the time with your capability, you maybe have tapped into your skills or whatever, but there's three other things that we're not operating in. Yes. And so when I say most of the world is out of alignment, because you have a gift for a reason. You have that talent for a reason, right? Because when you operate in your gift, when you operate in your talent, you are blessing someone else, right? And so, for instance, Beyonce is performing, but we believe again, we feel again, we're able to dance, and our worries and our fears go away. Or not fears, but our worries go away. And so if she never stepped into that, we would never have that moment. You know what I'm saying? Some people who are doctors, or, you know, or whatever that gift is, we're getting something from that. They've created something, they built something. And so that's why we always say it's just so important to find your passion, your purpose, because that's usually your gift and your talent. And a lot of the world is operating only from their capabilities. Mm-hmm. And they're making a living from their capabilities, which is great. But let's look at what are our talents, what are our skills, what are our gifts that we can now begin to operate in. And the powerful thing about this pandemic, while it's so emotional and everything, it has given us a time, because I believe that we are transcending into a new normal, into a time where it's going to be required for you to operate in your gift, your skill, or your talent if you want to continue to climb and evolve. And I think it's this pandemic, while it's a lot happening, a lot's being shedded, a lot of emotions, it is allowing us the time to either A, discover what that is for you, or B, if you already know what that is, how to get into it. And, you know, you can either turn it into a full-time business, or it's just an additional stream of income, or it's just something that you do to help bless others. But I think this pandemic is allowing us a moment to figure out what that is if you don't know, or figure out how to get into it. And those who, my belief, those who don't start to get the wheels in motion, may kind of be in a different place from those who are kind of figuring out what that is when we come out of this, you know? So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. I've never heard you explain that before, but that is magical. So,
Magical.
and I also want to touch on something that someone said in the comments. I lost it, and every time I tried it. Oh wait, Unique Vibes said, my gift is photography, but fear stops me. Okay, this was something that I realized the other day. It's so a lot of I actually really believe that a lot of us stick inside of the capabilities box because there's no ego in it. I mean, there's ego in it, but it's not you. So if you fail at it, it doesn't hurt. Like, it doesn't hurt as badly because it wasn't you, but there's something really deeply personal about the moment you identify that thing. So whether for you it's photography or something else, where like that is like the deepest expression of who you are. So when you put yourself out in the world and it gets rejected, I'm not gonna lie to you, girl, it stinks. Oh my gosh, like, ouch. Like, some of the hardest feedback I've had to hear has been, like, sometimes like with my coaching, like if sometimes I get feedback and but it's also so important for me to hear, because I'm like, okay, this like totally stings, but how is this data that I can use is number one. And number two is so the fear is going to get, and that is my fear. Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. I think if for me, I'm talking to literally this one person. Because I feel like it's so important, is that it stings, but I actually think you owe it to both yourself and the world to bring that thing out into the world. Like, what stinks more? Like, what stinks more? What's more painful? Having that thing inside of you and never knowing what it's like to actually step into it, or going out in the world and maybe getting criticized for it or falling on your face? As someone who's done both, like, a lot, extensively, the more painful option is the version of that involves abandoning parts of yourself in order to fit in boxes that you were never intended to fit into.
Mm-hmm.
So I think also, like, that vulnerability in it also is one of the things that makes it beautiful. Because I think Cara, like you said, when you meet someone who's really in their element and you're like, wow, this is like, they're very, very gifted in this. Even if they're like, making mistakes or they're not perfect at the thing yet, you can feel it. Like, you can really, really feel it. It's inspiring to people. It's inspiring people to go do it themselves.
Yeah.
And you can actually see them and you're moved by it.
Yeah. And that's your gift, right? When you can inspire someone to take action and to be like, whoa, like, and a lot of people aren't operating in that. And I think too, go ahead.
A really good, this just popped in my head. A really good friend of mine actually had this giant epiphany like a couple weeks ago, where she said she realized, so she's an artist, and she was like grappling with this thing where she felt like it was overly, what's the word, self-absorbed to be focusing on it. And she realized that actually art is a public service.
Oh,
like, that stepping into your, like, and it doesn't have to be art, stepping into your gift is a public service, because other people see it and they go, oh my God, that's possible. I can do that too. And they're moved by it.
Yep.
And a whole host of other reasons. What were you going to say, Cara?
No, I was going to say, when it comes to doing new things, right, and things that we're afraid to be judged on, or like, what are people going to think? I always look at it like this, like, as we know, no one is perfect coming out the gate, right? And so I practice a lot. Like, honestly, these IG lives every Monday is practice. Let's practice. Let's talk.
Yeah, we're not. Y'all been paying attention? We've been making mistakes. We don't. I mean, like the sound wasn't working.
Listen, let's practice, because when outside open up and I'm on the stage, then we're gonna be flowing, right? So this is practice. But I would say, when you first start out, nothing is perfect, right? However, the faster you can get out there and make your mistakes, the faster you can be a badass at it and be like, and grow and evolve and learn, right? And so I always, when I look at something new that I'm starting, I'm like, ugh, what are people gonna say? What are people gonna think? But I'm like, all right, well, the faster I can start to move in this and get feedback, whatever the case is, then that just makes me want to go harder at practicing and perfecting it, right? And I think another thing too, I know this was my experience. I used to think like people who were operating in their craft, in their purpose, in their gift, it just came naturally to them, right? And so, which it does, but they also practice and they prepare. And over the last week or so, I've been talking a lot about preparation. And I used to think like when we see preachers and pastors, and this is when I was younger, they just naturally get up on stage and they just naturally talk. You know, keynote speakers, they just naturally talk. People that sing, they just naturally sing. But they're behind the scenes and they're practicing. They're practicing, and maybe they're practicing in front of their family and friends and getting opinions and getting thoughts. Maybe they're getting together, you know, people in smaller settings and learning that way. And so when it comes to whatever it is that you're operating in, whether it's art or photography or doing hair, maybe it's starting out small and getting, you know, the opinions of the people around you first, and then starting to practice in private to help build that confidence muscle a little bit. But yeah, I used to like really downplay preparation and think, oh, they just naturally do it. Like I practice all the time. I'm in front of the mirror like, all right, that's what you gonna say. This how you gonna move, you know what I'm saying, until you get confident in that.
Yeah, we rarely see the work. We only see the finished product. For
Absolutely.
sure. Well, and it's so now that you're talking, I'm kind of unpacking in my brain what it's like. There's challenge, right? And then there's like, this thing is not for you. And I don't know. I think there have been moments where I've gone after things that have been scary, or that have been involved in my business where I'm like, this does not come naturally, but it's tied to the gift or the impact that I like, the gift that I have or the impact that I want to have. And it's like this internal, for me, it's really internal resistance. It's like, wow, is this thing uncomfortable because it's scary, or because I'm afraid that I'm going to fail? Or is it uncomfortable because I'm trying to fit like a round peg in a square hole? And I think that's only something. And I think once you identify what the round peg, round hole is like for you, then at that point, it's like, then don't stop practicing. Just keep doing it. The moment when you start getting really challenging feedback, or, you know, you're told that you're wasting your time and you're not going to make it or whatever, that's the moment to ignore that stuff and keep going and listen to yourself.
And I think that's where passion comes in. Passion is a byproduct. Passion is what is the fuel, right? So for instance, Michael Jordan, we all know this story. How many, you know what I'm saying? Or Oprah, who got fired. You know what I'm saying? How many championships or hoops did Michael Jordan miss, or whatever the case was, where great people, they've had people who told them they weren't good enough, or they had people who told them, I'm firing you, I don't want to deal with you. But what kept them going and what made them realize this is for me is their passion for it. Their passion, because that is what's going to push you through when even like people are like, yeah, nah, or when you got two people in the audience looking at your stuff, because it's like, I gotta figure this out, and I'm gonna, you know, prove that this is all about, like, this is it. Like, I love this so much that even if no one pays for it, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, Sandra Oh has this.
Yes, the invention of the light bulb. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you were talking. That kind of scared me. So many times it takes work and dedication. It does. And
that's it.
Man, I keep referencing this just popped into my head. Someone told me about this quote yesterday that I'd never read, but you know Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy? Mm-hmm. She had this really great thing. She said, she was like, someone asked, do you know, what advice do you have for someone who wants to be an actor? And she was like, honestly, she's like, only be an actor if it's more painful for you not to be an actor than it is to be an actor.
Listen!
Right?
That is, let me tell you.
Like, it takes self-abandonment to not do the thing. If that's the indicator. Like, I feel like I have to abandon and I can't even use words. You were gonna say something. Just go.
Go. No, let me tell you. But that was my and why I jumped up so crazy. Sorry guys, I get so like, this is like my.
I know, this is like what our calls are like. This is why we needed to broadcast them.
This is like my thing here. When I was in my 9 to 5, when I was in my career, I loved it.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where if I didn't take this step and evolve. And I put up a quote a few months ago, and it said, then the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bulb was more painful than the risk it took to blossom.
Yeah.
And so if I had stayed there, as amazing as it was, there was something like, there is more. And again, let me tell you something. Life is going to be hard, whether you go for your dream or not. Yeah. Life is going to be hard. Let me say it again. Life is going to be hard, whether you go for your dream or not. So why not make it worth it on your way to glory? Because at the end of the day, you know, once you get through all of the challenges and the obstacles and the hills, there's going to be glory on the other side. And so if you stay in, whatever that is, if you're not following your dream, again, it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship, whatever that is. If you stay in that space, if it's just evolving as a woman, life is still going to be hard. But you're going to have different struggles now. So you may struggle financially. You may struggle health-wise because you're not taking care of your health. You may struggle with your marriage. You may struggle with confidence and fear. Whatever those struggles are, your struggles are going to be different. But if you follow that dream, your struggles, it's not going to be financial, freedom at some point. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be now I got to overcome my fear. And once you do that, then it gets easier. So why not have the challenges on the way? Because after you get through them, there's going to be glory on the other side of that.
Yes. And it takes, that's the thing. Like the impossible, it feels like the impossible thing is making the leap. Like, it feels like the impossible thing is going, it's like, how the hell am I going to get there? I know I want that, but how the hell am I going to get there? Is there even a thing that exists? Like, so I'm going to leave good for the idea maybe of great eventually. Like, am I insane? But the thing is, you have to overcome fear to make that leap. Like, that's just human nature. You have to be willing to make those changes. And then now I'm gonna go full Glennon Doyle again. Like, you walk through the fire and you realize you're fireproof. Like, you get on the other side, you end up on the other side of that and you go, oh my God, it didn't kill me. Like, I've had moments in my business where I've been like, I'm definitely gonna fail. Like, I'm definitely gonna end up, like, this is not, there were a few months in, I was like, I'm not getting hired. And I was like, okay. And I had backup plans. I was like, all right, what am I going to do? Where am I going to move? Am I going to go back? What will that look like? I was like, and you know what? It didn't kill me. Mm-hmm. And you realize, and then suddenly you realize that you can handle it and it's actually going to be okay. And like, that you're smarter than you think you are and you're more resilient than you think you are. You get that feedback. Like, you hear the hard things sometimes, that you're not doing as well as you can, or someone holds a mirror up and you don't like what you see. And like, and also your capacity to be with those things expands so dramatically, where now I'm like, someone will give me feedback and I'm listening for, I'm like, where is the gold in this? What is it that I need to take so I can take in and actually make myself better? And there's still sting in it because it's my life's work, but I can at least go like, oh, okay. Like, I can hear it. And and I am not someone who's naturally thick skinned at all. Like, at all. But you realize that it's like, most of us live our lives in this way where, most of us live our lives in this way where we think that, most of us think that we build the net and then we leap. I'll know exactly how it's going to go. This is how much savings I'll have before I make the leap. I'll get this degree and that degree. I'll do this and I'll do that. And then I'll jump and then it'll be easy. And we've got the formula reversed, guys. You leap and then the net appears.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Powerful. Woo. Well, Instagram is letting me know we got 60 seconds.
What? Wait, there's a time limit on this?
Yeah, only an hour. It's gonna shut off and then we would have to start it back again. But girl, we could go all day.
Oh, we really could. We really could.
So is there anything you want to share before we wrap up?
Just thanks everyone for coming. This is like the first one, and I think it went well.
Yeah, no, it went great. Like this was really good. I'm excited about next Monday and the Mondays to come. Thank you everybody for joining. Wake up and show up, and let us know. DM us. Let us know your thoughts, and also share any questions or any topics that you guys want to talk about as we continue throughout our weeks. And jumping online every Monday. I think that would be cool. Anything we want to talk about, anything like beauty, life, whatever. That we can just all kind of jump in and have a conversation about. So we got 5 seconds. So we love you all. Bye.
Bye.